Hi everyone, I'm Allison and I am back from outer space. Last Saturday we had our very first meetup in 5 years. Whew, it's been a time, and I think it was an incredible success. Considering there wasn't a lot of advance notice, we got a great turnout, lots of interesting people, and we even got people who flew in with like almost no notice, flew in from half a continent away, one from California, one from Montreal. So it was great to see the desire to come and see the Badgers. And it was great to see Karen again. It was great to see Brian again. It was great to almost see Mike again. DrRandomercam's, more on that later. And just wonderful to go out and talk to you guys, find out what you got going on, what's happening in your lives, what your concerns are, and just sit down and have a normal kind of chat, kind of reminisce, just in person, having that connection. And I think it's really critical to start reestablishing that kind of normalcy because we haven't had it for quite some time. 5 years, we haven't had a meetup. 5 years, a lot of people have been experiencing a significant amount of isolation, not just because it was enforced, but also because of conflicts with family and feeling alienated because their opinions differed and that kind of thing. So it's great to actually get back in the saddle and start seeing you guys again and meeting with you and talking with you. Awesome. It was very good for my own sense of well-being. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who came out. Thank you to everybody who supported. Thank you to everybody who took the time to help this happen. It was great. And I think it helped a lot of people. Judging from what they had to say, I think it really was a salutary experience for some people who have been feeling rather isolated, not just because of the health circumstance, but also all the fallout because of that. So it was, again, just awesome time. And okay, I'm going to tell you about what happened to Mike after I explain why I think this is so important. We need to get back into connecting with each other again. And it's not just the current political circumstance that's causing this to become more and more of a pipe dream almost. It's also, as I've mentioned many times, the narratives that we tell ourselves about how men and women relate, and which then falls down to how men relate to other men, how women relate to other women, how people relate to their children, how we relate to the emerging no confidence vote in the two genders, otherwise known as the rainbow, the alphabet spectrum, shall we say. So, I mean, it has an effect, and we need to start taking those steps to ameliorate that effect, to healing that rift. And even if it's small, even if it's contained within this community, I feel like it's important to do that because, even if it's a small lifeboat, at least there's one, right? At least it's there. Maybe other people will start doing the same thing, and we'll start seeing more in-person events, more connection on that level. Because I think that that's really valuable. It certainly was valuable for me. After that happened, I felt a lot of relief. It was like a little bit more color had come back into the world. And again, thank you to everybody who took the time to come. Thank you to everybody who helped make this happen by supporting it. And we will have to do this again next year. And I say have to. I was already planning to try if this was a success, and I think it was. But we will have to do this next year because, and now I'm going to tell you about what happened to Mike, DrRandomercam's. We had arranged for his tickets. He was ready to come. And he found out that he had to purchase a visa. This has never happened before. I think this is a new thing. Apparently, the Canadian government is now looking very askance at people coming in from Britain, even though we're part of the Commonwealth, so go figure. And the last time I flew, it was after I'd actually been banned from the States. The last time I flew to Britain, there was priority for people from the Commonwealth. So there's supposed to be kind of a relationship, like a recognition between Britain and Canada and all the rest of the Commonwealth. Yeah, what happened to it? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, he had to get a visa, a $7 visa. His bank kept declining the charge, and he tried that way. He went to the airport and tried to get the customs officials to help him out, the ticketing agents to help him out. No avail. He was scuppered by a $7 visa. And here's where the story gets a little bit odd. After that, a patron who had supported suggested I contact Expedia to see if I can get a credit, which incidentally, Expedia did give us a credit, so, kudos to them. I contacted Expedia and I talked to one of their agents, and he told me that he was actually glad that I contacted him because there was nothing written in Dr. DrRandomercam's file. Like nothing. It's like he had disappeared off the planet. And the agent told me that this was very unusual. Usually something is written for why the person wasn't able to fly. So it was in their system that basically he just disappeared. He didn't show up. And yet he told me, and I really doubt he didn't, he was talking to the tickets, he was talking to people at the airport, he was talking to airport staff to try to resolve this, and yet none of that was in his file. But on the positive note, a little eerie, but on a positive note, the agent did say that sort of meant that it was a pending or open situation. So he was able to give us full credit for the tickets for a future flight. The only conditions are same person, same departing country, and same entry country. So he has to go, it has to be Mike, Dr. DrRandomercam. He has to go from the UK and he has to come to Canada. So he'll be coming back. So that's the good thing. So we're definitely on for next year. Just a little bit of weird circumstance. Go figure. And so again, it was a great event. I look forward to doing it again, with a little bit of recovery time. It's very social. I can be find social stuff a little exhausting, but it was fantastic. Just awesome. Okay. The only other hitch that we had was the day before the meetup. And this was a big one when it happened, but then it got resolved, so it was all good. Jojo, which is Brian's dog. We brought Jojo, we brought Scipio, and we brought Borat, which is Karen's dog. Scipio's my dog. They didn't really get along. Borat is quite... He likes his genitals. Karen is not lying when she says that her dog is he's a bit of a horny mutt, and it doesn't seem to matter if it's male or female. He is a sex crazed bisexual dog. Well, he's a dog, so he doesn't have an orientation. But anyway, he really just like a homing missile, right there. And Jojo didn't appreciate it, although Jojo didn't have as much to sniff, and Scipio really didn't appreciate it. So that was that. What? Yeah. Can I sniff? No sniffing. Anyway, but Jojo and Scipio were relatively indifferent to each other, so that's good. They had some fun swimming in tandem, like tandem play in the river, and it was a really beautiful location. So sometimes they got out to just run around and be a dog.
Just sniffing around, eh? Is this mountain water, Skippy? Yeah, it's pretty clear. Oh, he's swimming around in there.
Now, Skippy's going to be like, well, why can't I?
Because you'll swim and swim and swim and swim.
There he goes.
Good boy, Jojo.
Hi.
He usually does that to cool off.
Yeah, nice and cool.
Come.
He doesn't want to leave the water.
Unfortunately, the night before the meetup, Jojo discovered a mule deer and decided to go commune with the mule deer. And he ended up running up a hill that was just behind the place that we were staying. It's quite a steep hill. In fact, there were signs saying, stay off hill, rock slides. And he ran with the mule deer, apparently off on his own little walkabout and spiritual journey. And the last time we saw him, or at least Brian and Lindsay saw him, he was silhouetted on the top of the hill like something out of Call of the Wild. And then he disappeared. And of course, there was quite a kerfuffle, and called the owner to try to figure out what to do. Contacted the people in the town. Somebody in the town actually put up a Facebook page to find Jojo. And then they had the whole town trying to locate this dog. And it ended up that Jojo, well, after running around the town for a bit, ended up, apparently he got a little spooked, so he wasn't responding to Brian and Lindsay calling him back, which apparently, according to the owner, who also rescues dogs, that's very common when a dog gets into that kind of situation. But he ran around the town, then he ran back to the hill, and he ended up on the glass porch of someone overlooking the hill, who turned out to be the neighbor of the sister of the owner. And she kept him overnight because it was in the middle of the night that she found him. And she tells us that he was actually trying to get down the hill, but it was a really steep hill, so he was confuzzled by how to do that. I think he's more of a flatland dog too, so the hill was scuppering him. But that morning, he came back to Brian and Lindsay. So thank you to all the people of the small town that we were staying at. I'm not necessarily going to say the name because I don't want to bring the wrath of the usual suspects onto them. But thank you. Small town Alberta is great. So we got Jojo back. Everything was great. Got some interviews for people who attended, like a wrap-up kind of session.
What is a thing about our, what we've built as far as our community and so on? What about that do you enjoy a lot, that you want people to know about?
I think just, like, as I said, willingness to discuss it, willing to disagree and still not lose your mind or pop a gasket, or maybe do that and then still remain friends.
So I want to ask you, first of all, why did you take an interest, and what is it about this weekend that you have enjoyed in particular?
Well, what I enjoyed this weekend was meeting you guys the most, because for me, you guys are rock stars, Karen and Allison and you, Brian. But what brought me here is basically the opportunity to meet people and talk about these issues that are not easy to talk about in other environments.
Well, I've been with the Badgers probably since about day one, at least following off and on, and then more intensely as the years went by, because I got the impression that you were just asking questions and trying to figure things out that no one else was asking and that no one else was trying to understand, and that clearly are significantly affecting our society.
And that was a few snippets from the wrap-up session we had with the people who attended. And if you're interested in watching the full wrap-up, you can do so by becoming a member of this channel, which should be, look somewhere here. Like, just follow wherever it is. I don't know where it will appear. I think here, but maybe not. Or you can also become a subscriber at feedthebadger.com/subscribe, and you'll have access there as well. It was a great meetup. And if you're interested in what I'm doing at the Badger Cave currently, as I'm reestablishing normalcy, because I think everybody was aware that I never intended to be a YouTuber or an activist. I was always an artist and a writer. So yeah, it's not only has been great to establish normalcy with actually talking to people, it's great to actually be getting back into my art. So let me show you a little bit of that right here. This is the stuff that I do to indicate where I need to edit out, just so you know. Let's see if I can get it to the right page. Oh, opened right at the right one. The 100 Heads Challenge. The challenge is to do 100 heads, which is what I'm doing. That's the first one. It's the second one. The third one, which is actually sort of a statue, I believe, of a saint. The fourth one, I'm trying to get back into getting a little bit more loose with my drawing, so it looks a little scribbly, but that's sort of intentional. And this one, trying to get that expression of less like slight wonder and horror. And then this one, scribbly. And this one, which I just let myself go really tight. I'm still a pretty scribbly artist though, as you can see. I'm messy. All right, and that's what I'm working on. It's called the 100 Heads Challenge, and I'm hoping that it's going to get my portraiture skills back up to snuff really quickly, because it's been a while. I mean, I've always just sort of sketched and doodled, but in the last couple of years, I haven't really dedicated myself to creating finished compositions, which is something that I need to do. I need to get back to that because it's a big part of who I am and what feeds my soul. And with that, hopefully this fed a little bit of your soul, and you'll do the same. Find what feeds your soul and get back to it. Maybe consider the next time we do a meetup, come out and talk and have a conversation with people who won't bite your head off and destroy your life for disagreeing with you. And yeah, so if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy what I'm saying now, you want to make a comment, you want to have me respond to it in the next thing that I do, this thing, which I'm trying to do every Friday and put up every Saturday, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/comments. And if you want to support the show, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/support. If it isn't available yet to support, it will be available soon. So thank you for your kind attention, and have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it may be. Bye.